Good afternoon. Craig Slater, Sky Sports News here. A couple of days off for the squad, as I gather. How have they come back to you? A bit more refreshed? And can you update us on the injury and illness front? And maybe looking just a little bit further ahead, Thomas. Reece James posted a picture of himself in his boots this week. Have you got a clearer time frame for him coming back?
Well, we have a time frame, but we will not make it public because otherwise we will just get asked about the time frame. He is back on the pitch, is the good news, but he is in individual training, so far away from being part of the squad on Sunday's game. Trevor Chalobah is back in team training, but also way too early to play the game on Sunday on this kind of level. So actually nobody's coming back. It's the same squad. We decided to give 2 days off to deconnect a little bit, but the 2 days alone will not solve everything. It was good to have, and after the Tottenham game, we have the chance to give the majority of the players another days off because we simply need it. But for Sunday, the 2 days alone are not the solution. We have to make sure that we are in a different mindset, in a different attitude, and in top shape because we have a big match coming on Sunday.
Yes. Can you quantify how big a match? I mean, it's interesting. I mean, they've played 4 games fewer than you have, which is something in itself. But in terms of maybe getting your momentum going and blunting the recent momentum they've had, how big a game is this?
It's a big game because, of course, we can do our mathematics, but it's strange to look at the fixture and see teams competing for the same area of the table and having 4 games less. So this can lead you to a wrong impression that you're comfortably ahead, which you are not. So we have to make sure that this stays like this, and the best chance is to win direct competitions against direct opponents. It's a London derby. It's a big rivalry. We know this, and then we play them now 3 times. The 3rd time in a very short period of time. So I think they know what we do. We know what they do, and things are clear. We managed to win to beat them twice, and we will do everything to beat them a 3rd time.
Yeah, Romelu, I think, has had some strong performances against Tottenham in all 3 games, albeit he hasn't scored. Are you thinking he's maybe been unfairly spotlighted when results haven't come your way? Maybe just because of his price tag, because of the reputation he has?
Yeah, that's it. Welcome to reality. That's it. I mean, we are in the spotlight and we are judged, all of us, and that's daily business. And it's like this. If you are the decisive player, or if things go very well, people talk about you, and if not, the same people talk about you. This is part of the business, like it or not, and and nothing more to say.
Okay, last one from me then. Transfer-wise, I see you've been linked with a number of Barcelona players. I mean, one thing, you have worked with Ousmane Dembele before. I'm sure you won't signal any interest in him. I just wondered, do you have sympathy with the situation he's in at the moment? And is he the kind of player that could make a real impact in the Premier League?
He is a very good player, and he's in his top level. And I'm very fortunate to have trained him in my time at Dortmund. It was only 1 year, should have been longer. But I needed to leave, and he decided to leave. So, and from there we are not in closest contact. We met here and there because of his duties for the French national team, and of course I was in Paris. So this was more or less when they were preparing for national duties. It's very close to Paris, so this is where we met or exchanged some messages. But he is in a situation. I have absolutely no idea why he is in that situation. I have no idea what the situation in detail is. So I know how I feel about it when it's about my players. So it's better not to talk.
Okay, thanks, Greg. We'll go to John Southall, 5 Live. Can't hear you, John.
Put it in now.
Yeah, got you now.
Just one other team news question. Andreas Christensen, is he ready to play?
No, he's not. He's not with the team yet.
Right. Okay. Do you know how long that might be?
We hope he is back in training next week.
Okay. Antonio Conte has said on a number of occasions that he thinks Chelsea are on a different level to Tottenham at the moment. Do you think that's a fair comment?
You have to ask him. The last results and the last games, it was like this, and we have to make sure that it's a third time like this. But of course, we should not get confused by this comment about the last matches and the ambition that with which they will show up. He prepares his team to win and to beat us. That is very sure. So that's why it's not so important what he says about the last games.
But do you think you've got a psychological advantage over them after the League Cup games?
I don't know. We play now 3 matches in such a short time, which is pretty unusual and pretty uncommon normally, and that's why I think they pretty know what we do, and we know more or less what they do, and it's again for us to show up now. You know, in games like this, they come from a late victory that gives them a boost. We come from 2 wins in Carabao Cup that should give us some confidence, and then you play the match. It's not about having whatever advantages and be philosophical about it. It's about delivering, and we have to be in the right mood, right attitude to deliver top performance.
Last one, John.
Yeah, you said a moment ago that players need to be in a different mindset and attitude for the game. Do you think that hasn't been right for the last couple of matches?
Not for the couple of matches, just for one match, and which was in Brighton, and not for a couple of matches, because we had a couple of good matches before, and good results also. And if we did not have the results, the match was good, and the mindset and attitude was always on the level where it needs to be. But after the loss against Manchester City and the gap opened up enormously for us, and playing 2 days later, more or less on a Tuesday again, I could feel from myself and from the team that some emotions took over, maybe frustration, maybe disappointment and whatever, and it was hard for us on this particular day to reach our top level as a team, whatever the top level means on this particular day, because we did not expect in general that we will play an overwhelming, exciting match, because there's a very strong opponent who has a certain style of play and makes you underperform sometimes. And this was the very first time, so when it happens for the first time, we should not make a bigger deal out of it than it is. And we had like our 2 days off now and 2 days to prepare to be ready on Sunday.
Thanks, John. Sebastian Zani.
Good afternoon, Thomas.
Hi.
Just a quick question on Lukaku's last 2 games. He touched 20 balls against City, 18 times against Brighton, only 3 shots in those 2 games. At the start of the season, everyone was saying that he was completing the puzzle. It seems more difficult now. How do you explain this? Is it the confidence? Is it the system? How would you explain this?
It's I don't know if I can explain it. It's very rarely in football that you have like a situation or like a problem, and it's a one thing solution. It's always a mix of a lot of influences. He was already more involved. In the moment he struggles, there are reasons for it. We already discussed them. And that's the way it is. I mean, he's not the only one on which we rely on to win games. So there's nothing special to it.
Sorry, just a question. You're quite distanced with Manchester City now, of course, who are quite far ahead of you. Is there a moment as a manager when you've got things like the FA Cup, the League Cup, and also the Champions League, of course, is there a moment as a manager when you have to make the decision that with the COVID environment, the injuries, you have to prioritise a competition over the others in terms of the chances you still have?
No, because we want to. No, because if you play, if you work for Chelsea, you give your very best on a daily basis, and that guarantees you that you have that you come in the right shape, right attitude, right mentality to games. And the moment where you start judging, when you start prioritizing, is the moment where you lose track from what brings us to be part of Chelsea. Being part of Chelsea is being competitive in every single day, and come with the right mindset, come with the right attitude, and this is what we do. And the next game is always the most important. Everything has huge influence, and with me, we will never start prioritizing. We will never start judging importance of games. We will select teams, and we will make sure that the process and the atmosphere is right on a daily basis, that we can increase the chances to win games, and this is what we do.
Last question in the broadcast, Declan McCarthy.
Hey Thomas, good to see you. Just one on if there's been any development on the situation regarding Antonio Rudiger's contract. Are you confident the club can get something solved with him? And if not, if he were to leave in the summer, just how much of a miss would he be going forward within your plans?
Well, you know how I was full of praise for him, well deserved. You know how important he is. I said many times. So it is. So this is the importance that he has and that he deserves at the moment. The talks, the negotiations are ongoing. So there are no news. And about the if, we talk about the if when the if happens, if it happens.